Hey guys and gals, this will be an off video from my usual series. I just want to make a fun video after seeing many new mobile gacha games that do not interest me whatsoever. Why, you may ask? Well, there's a lot of reasons for why I chose Azur Lane and stuck around to it for months, and why I plan on playing this game specifically for many more months to come. To keep this organized for you, I'll give you a list of reasons for why I personally believe this game is absolutely amazing to me. If there's one thing I look for in a game, it's being free to play friendly. Just like what I look for in a girl, being cheap because I ain't rich. Being free to play friendly means a lot of players will be happy, from non-payers to casual payers to even some whales. Just because a game is free to play friendly doesn't mean whales cannot be happy as well. If done right, then they can too enjoy spending some money. Azur Lane does this right in the sense that this game is free to play friendly, however, gets many players to spend money on the game as well. The game hands out many cubes, coins, and oils for players to farm, and only gems is limited to buy the extra goodies for you to enjoy, and that is completely fine. Since the game hands out all the foundations for me while giving me the option to make the foundations look better, then that is completely fine for a payment model. Hell, even I've spent some money on this game, and I usually do not spend that on mobile games whatsoever. I get what I paid for when it comes to Azur Lane. Gems goes towards skins, dormitory, wedding rings, and dock expansions. One could argue wedding rings are pay to win, and I guess they somewhat are, but I'm willing to be okay with this since the general aspect of the game is not to be a better commander than someone else, it's to collect and have as many waifus as your dog can hold. I grew up in a video game era where games are more about putting time and effort rather than just shortcutting your way to the end. The sense of accomplishment was the greatest feeling in the world, and I could never get that by swiping my way on unfair advantages. This is why Azur Lane marketing strategies are top notch. It has the mobile BR marketing aspect while on a mobile game. Now that is pretty damn good. For the majority of my time spent on Azur Lane, I've been on auto battle. I'm being honest, I'm super lazy when it comes to playing games, so I am truly grateful for being able to do this. However, the times I decide to play this game manually, it is one of the most interactive because of the game style it has. Being able to dodge and use skills at will is something that adds a small layer of complexity and skill ceiling to the game, which I like. Of course, you can just breeze through the game with auto battle and never have to worry about manual gameplay. The issue is you cannot deny the fact that there is more to Azur Lane gameplay as a whole than just pressing a skill and then wait for your character to use that attack with no say in whatsoever you can dodge or cannot dodge an attack. Skill is what makes a game fun in my eyes, and having a high skill ceiling makes the game even more fun. Azur Lane makes not the highest of skill ceiling games, but being able to add a small neat combat system, this makes the game one of a kind. I've played many mobile games over the course of 5 years, and if there's one thing I hate, it is forced PvP. Forced PvP in my terms is when a game gives you the option of doing PvP to gain a little bit of extra currency or rewards. This adds to a psychological behavior that you must participate in PvP in order to gain some rewards, otherwise you will quote unquote fall behind. This adds a bad mindset to players because every game has whales, and if you get matched with a whale, well, guess what? Most of the time you will lose, because if you are a casual payer or a free to play player, you do not have the endless resources that player might have. It demoralizes you from doing PvP knowing you didn't lose to skill, but you lost to someone because your units are weaker or your gear isn't on par with theirs. Where's the fun in that? PvP games should be made to be balanced. Look at the most popular PvP games like Fortnite League of Legends, or Overwatch, all the character and guns have equal power by all players. It comes down to skill to be able to outplay the other player. How do you outplay someone in a game where most likely there are no dodges and it comes down to whoever can send out the bigger numbers? Exactly, you can't. Very rarely can you actually make this happen, which brings me to Azur Lane and not enforcing PvP. PvP in Azur Lane gives you extra experience and currency to buy other resources. But so what? Once you get South Dakota and Eldritch, there's not much else you can get, and basically you're done with PvP. No one takes PvP seriously in Azur Lane. It's on auto battle, you can't control it, no one takes it seriously. You're just there to test out ships and have fun. There's no competitiveness whatsoever. If you are competitive with PvP, go by all means, go ahead. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, no one in this game takes PvP seriously. It's just facts. The PvP in Azur Lane isn't one of the biggest for many reasons, but I'm fine with it because the game doesn't add this mindset of you have to PvP. Hell, I don't even PvP anymore. After I got close to 100,000 points, I'm completely fine with it. I don't fall behind or anything, and that's what makes it fun for me. I should be able to PvP whenever I want, not PvP 30 times a week for 500 crystals or else you will fall behind. It adds a bad mindset, whereas in Azur Lane it does not. In many games I've played, most mobile games go through metas and phases. What I mean by this is a certain game will release a set of X units or weapon series to get consumers to spend money or use gems that they have saved up. These units and weapon series will probably last a few months before they get offsetted by a much more better series, and thus making your last set of units or weapons obsolete, if not irrelevant. This adds a bad taste for players because they worked hard to get those specific resources or spent a lot of money trying to get them. This is what you call a power creep in a sense. Old units fall off, new ones become more powerful, fast forward a couple months later, and the cycle continues. In Azur Lane, that is really not the case. Ships that have been out since day one are still very powerful and still commonly used in most fleets. Enterprise, Hood, Unicorn, Laffy, and much more were out since day one and still commonly used in most fleets. That is what you call good game design because you are free to be able to use many types of ships combinations in a fleet and still be able to clear a content. Whereas in most games, if you do not have a certain set of powerful meta units or weapons, you will most likely not be able to clear that content and you will be sad. And it's not just the SSRs in Azur Lane either. Even the common and rare ships in the game are useful. When was the last time you had the majority of common or 3-star units be useful in the game? Exactly, almost never. Because in Azur Lane it is balanced quite well because gear is what's important for the most part and those can be farmed. You can make a powerful fleet with just common ships and clear difficult content. If you can play around with combinations enough, you can get there. You could argue that some games does not require the meta units and whatnot to be able to clear, and that is fair. But the way Azur Lane does it, if you look at the entire library of ships, more than 50% of the cast is useful, whereas most games, I'd argue less than 30% are actually useful due to power creep. So there you guys have it, just some general ideas that I would like to share with all of you on why I love this game and why I chose to play it. I initially came to this game back in the summer when I had some friends talk about it and got lucky with it getting a closed beta key. Ended up playing the closed beta, played the open beta as well, and launch, and I'm still here today. I love this game very, very much, from the gameplay, to the waifus, to the micromanagement, to the waifus, to the decorating of my dorm. And did I mention waifus? I plan on playing this game for many, many more months to come, and I'm not sure when I'll be able to quit. I usually quit when power creep becomes pretty much insane for a game, but I don't see that as of right now for Azur Lane. I support this game very much, and I plan on continuing my videos with it. Azur Lane has been an amazing part of my channel's growth. The community in the game itself is absolutely amazing. Everyone is kind to one another, we're all generous, we trash, and we all want to have a good time. Having a very positive community leads to a good growth in a game, and to find that in this day and age is very, very hard. Greed is among many game companies, and I understand that every company wants to make money. However, they are doing it in the wrong way, whereas Azur Lane is doing it in the right way. I hope many games in the future can look at games like Azur Lane as a role model they can design a game around. Because if I'm being honest, guys, the game does a lot of things right, and also does me right as well.
Oh my god!